That's it. This is just changing the decimal point, you see. So it goes between 45 and 50, so then we pull it and we go back to 47. And then the other one, the big one, changes the big numbers. 1, 2, 4. And exactly the same thing onto that, please. We don't change it yet because that's for London. I'm going to ask London about the danger area.
So you want that to be 75?
You can't be a 5, you haven't got a digit on the end.
Oh, right, okay. This one?
Yeah, no, we're going to know just that with this one.
Same.
47, so it's got 47 already, it just needs to say 1, 2, 4. Good. So they're now both ready to go, and we are currently set to COM2. COM1 makes this hissing sound, which goes away after a while. And when you're on a box like this, if you pull this knob, it makes a hissing noise, and you can then hear how noisy that radio is going to be when we need it. So basically this one here, it's like it's stuck with this pull ident set, you see. So that may be the problem. It still is the volume.
Yeah.
So when it makes horrible crackly sounds, we go to there.
Okay.
And when the screen starts making no sense at all, we either use that one or that one to actually turn the bloody thing off and back on again. And that will normally clear this bad display. So that turns it all the way off and then turns it back on again. But of course, when you've done that, it means that you've lost your volume setting. Yeah? So that's going to be ready for London Information. And so when we change it to London Information, the next frequency we'll put in, which we can't do yet, will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 again. So we're all right. We've got hardly any worry to... No, 4, 7. That's on 4, 7.
Go from 1, 2, 3, yeah.
London is meant to be 7, 5. My bad. Go on, change that one to 7, 5 instead. That's it. And the other one below. Excellent stuff. So 7575 and Dunkeswell is 47, so we'll have to go back to 47 when we're changing. So basically we'll take off, we'll change to London, we'll get permission from London, and then and while we're doing that we'll punch in Dunkeswell, and then we'll punch it across to Dunkeswell, it just does that. Yep.
So that's 1 and that's 2?
Yeah, this is box 1,
yep.
And this is box 2, and they change frequency in the same way. That's the standby frequency. That's the use frequency. So when we're ready to go from Compton to London, we'll go
That's 1017 we've been two-way with, never in.
So somebody's talking to London Information at the moment, but nobody's talked to Compton since we've been here. And because the oil has got thinner, the revs have got higher, but we're nearly there, ready to go. We'll have the transponder on. We'll set this to be about 800 feet. We'll remind myself when we get there that the altitude of Dunkeswell is given here, and it's 839. So that's only about 58. It's 839. So I would need to wind off 839 if we couldn't hear from them at Dunkeswell. And but one of the reasons I was doing this messing around with the hotspot, because I wanted to load the plate for Dunkeswell, and I have paid AFE, and where is the plate for Dunkeswell? So I have to use the old one. Are you going to load now? It is. Right. There are the runways for Dunkeswell. Thank you, that helps. And I need to read this. That was the other little bit of preparation I should have done. That map would be really good to just put it right up and hide it completely. Be nice if it let me read it. Right way up. Oh, and I can't, that's right, because it's the wrong thing. I want the...
Compton, good morning, Golf Oscar Alpha, Foxtrot Alpha.
This is the government supplied chart, and I have paid AFE to have their plates, and I'm not getting the AFE plate up on here. Bastard. Textual information.
Compton, good morning, Golf Oscar Alpha, Foxtrot Alpha. Golf Foxtrot Alpha, Compton Radio.
Compton, good morning. Just a radio check, please, 122.7.
Golf Foxtrot Alpha, you're 5 with us.
Fox Alpha 5 also, thank you. 2S1 to me en route, bye-bye.
Golf Foxtrot Alpha, have a good flight.
Did he just give him the wind? Was that one of his questions? I wasn't really listening. I'll click on Go Flying for that. They'll give me the information I need because we've got the frequency set up, so they'll remind me about the overhead join or the joining directions. And with the wind the way it is, we're going to be landing on that sort of northerly one. Right, we are here. I'm going to call him up for some information. Compton Radio, Golf, Romeo, Romeo, Romeo by the new hangar. Radio check and taxi for a flight to Dunkeswell with 2 POB.
Golf, Romeo, Romeo, Compton Radio, you're 5s with us, runway and use 08 left hand, QNH 1023, wind 18 knots, approximately northeast.
102308 left hand, copy the wind, Golf, Romeo, Romeo. And then I'm going to switch. And Compton Radio, Golf Romeo Romeo, radio check box 2.
Golf Romeo Romeo, radio check box 2, 5s also.
Roger, Romeo Romeo. So we'll go back to box 2 because it's got them in the wrong order. We're ready. So we started it on the left, we go to the right. Okay. That's because your squelch is right round there. Talk now.
Is that, oh, yeah.
That's the sensitivity to the microphone, that's the volume in your ears.
Okay, is that better? Can you hear me now?
I can hear you absolutely fine. All the time you can hear you can hear me.
It's just not that loud.
No, right. Well, you've got some control over the volume there in your ears. There. There's a knob on that side.
Okay, that's much better.
It takes ages to work out. You think, bloody, I'm learning to fly, not to be a DJ.
I thought I'm going deaf.
Yeah. So, would you like to do a little bit of this? First of all, now that we've got, rest your feet on the pedals. We've got that. We don't need that for a while. I want you to remind yourself about the toe brakes, which is standing on your tippy toes, and to get that brake off, you've got to stand on your tippy toes, and then you've got to pull that back slightly and turn it, and let go. So now, when you take your feet off the brake, if we were on a hard surface, it would roll forwards. I'm going to manage this bit. You're going to manage the pedals. We want to go to that Bravo Delta. I think his prop is spinning. Yes, I think his prop's spinning. I can't see any collision beacons or anything, but I think he is possibly going to move. So we need to be alert to him.
Yep.
Our wingtip is good. We know we've got no chocks in. So what we're going to do is when we start moving, we're going to get it moving on this sort of flat, and then we're going to put in a reasonably steep turn to the left and a reasonably steep turn to the right, and when we do that, we're going to be looking for those things.
So after those obstacles, then left and then right?
No, I think once she gets moving, we'll get it moving on the flat, and then we'll turn up the hill, and you're controlling all of that with this throttle. And the purpose of doing the turns is to make sure that all of this moves. In fact, we haven't set this, that's 7. In fact, let us go back to the checklist just to see, okay?
But you don't want to turn before the black and white?
No, I'm just doing a zigzag before we go anyway, just to check that we've got full control of it.
Yep.
After start, we've done 1200, oil pressure, start light out, alternator on, magnetos we haven't checked for drop, not stop. Pre-taxi, avionics master switch is on, mixture is lean to rivets, fuel is set to right, flat, check operation, so go on, you do it. Down to the first stage and look at, no, that's the trim, flat.
Put that in takeoff.
That's intermediate, that's full, and also I've got a gauge here that's showing, and then set back to intermediate and we see the gauge, the needle travelling, and then all the way to the top. So that's the flap check. Instruments, de-icing, which I've just done.
Okay, that flap doesn't look as if it's come up completely. Oh, okay, right, get it. Yeah.
That's, no, that's good. It's observant,
Great.
and you understand. I didn't have to say anything because that's why it happens. Radios, nav aids on, tuned, identified. I've done all of that. Transponder is on standby. Before greater than 1200, it is before greater than 1200. Canopy's closed or latched.
Yep.
Time off chocks doesn't need to be noted because I've set that to be recording. And we'll have the taxi light on. Okay, so we're ready to move. So you need a little bit of revs, and actually, if you were doing it, you would remember also to hold the stick back. And when she starts moving, you're going to tread on the throttle, the rudder, rather, and turn it hard 90 degrees. And of course it's uphill, so you need more oomph. And then less oomph, much less oomph. And then round. And as it's turning, that's changing, and that's changing. And we'll go over there a little bit, and then less power. Now swing all the way around into the wind. So you need a bit of oomph. Stop for a minute. Let's give him a chance to go because we need a bit of space to manoeuvre. We do need.
Compton, Golf Bravo Romeo, Bravo Delta, radio check and ready for departure.
Yes, right.
Golf Bravo Delta.
Actually, where we need to point is into the wind, so we don't need to come all the way around. We'll wait for Bravo Delta to go because it will freak him out less.
2, 3.
And then we'll pull forward. Right. Can you set that back to 1200, please? We took over at 1200, otherwise it soots up. And I've got the brakes on with my feet. Have you got?
Bravo Delta lying up.
Keep the brakes on with both your feet. And now that he's gone, hand on the throttle, what you've got to be aware of is the moment you've put in enough throttle to make it move, you probably need to pull the throttle back, otherwise it's going to move too fast. You're looking at the...
So where's he taking off?
He's taking off in 08, he's just not using the whole of it. We're wanting to point into there because we've got to do our power checks. So we want to be clear of that, we're clear of that. So basically come forwards just a weeny bit and then swing around 90 degrees so you're pointing directly into wind without going too far forwards, and that's too many revs. That's it, and stop there. And you've got to stop fairly swiftly, and then I'm going to do it for a bit.
Okay.
Only because at the moment the nose wheel is slightly bent. You can feel with your feet on the...
Yep.
And so I'm going to give it a little bit of welly. I'm actually favouring the wheel being over there a bit because of some problems around. Now then, let's see if you can put this brake on. Both toes, pull it out, turn it, let go of it. That was probably it. We'll find out because we're now...
Compton radio, hello again, Golf Bravo Alpha 2 Mike, taxiing for
So we have done the taxiing checks, brakes, instruments, rudder left and right, okay? Now we're doing the run-up. Parking brake is on and we're covering the foot brakes. Fuel, I'll set it to both.
Thank you, Golf 2 Mike.
Mixture goes to fully rich. That's the mixture, the red one. That's it. And now, gently, because you've got to bear in mind it's a big heavy thing, so you don't just whack it open. Looking out of the window and covering the brakes, take it up to 1800. Yeah, I'll do that to keep the weight off.
Up to 1800.
Up to 1800 and make sure she doesn't creep forwards on the brakes. And because I'm sitting in the proper place, that's not yet 18 and you can't quite see it because of the angle you're looking at. That's 18.
Yep.
Now pull the prop back gently until she comes down to about 1300. And as you do it, you can see the pressure's changing. Keep pulling it back, you'll feel it bite. That's it.
To 13.
13. Bit further. That changed, then back up.
All the way?
Yep. So you've checked that it goes down to 13 and that it's come back up again, and then you pull it all the way back to 13 again. And then back up again and then do it one more time. So we've exercised the prop 3 times. We know that we've got nice fresh warm oil in the engine, in the prop as well, and then all the way back up again. And now take the and still keeping, make sure she doesn't creep. You're taking this up to 2,100, the rev counter. That's it. And now it's at 200, 100. Turn this key once, one click left, and back again. And now don't turn it forward against the spring. And now 2 clicks left.
Oh.
Oh, that was all the way off.
Yeah. Okay, so that's 2.
And now you're on both. Okay, so you've checked one side, and I'm just going to do that for my own reassurance. That's right. So there is a spring there which engages the starter.
Oh.
We need to do that without the engine running.
Yeah.
It's 1 click, 1 click. I'm doing 1 clicker there lots of times, and then 2 clicks,
Compton radio,
and then back to the 1 click, and then back to both.
Okay.
Now pull that all the way out and see if it goes down slightly. It does, and now put it all the way back in again. Now have a look and see that it is 0 or charging.
Yep.
We've checked the suction, pressures, and now gently pull the throttle all the way back down to as far as it will go down, and check that it will tick over. And when it's settled at a tick over, restore it gently back up to 12. Good, good, good. And we don't do that bit. Now, pre-takeoff, trims. We need to check that that's set to naught, that's set to the takeoff position, and we need to check that that one's set to the takeoff position, and it is.
Mixture full rich.
Mixture is fully rich, and prop is fully fine, and these are all definitely touch drills. You've got to touch them for your instructor to know that he's doing it. Prop lever fully fine, which is the blue one. Friction lever applied. Just pull that back, not too hard, because it's basically just putting a brake on it, so that it makes it hard to move. Engine heat knob is in, and poke it in. No, just touch it and poke it. Mags are on both. Just touch it so that you know that it's on both without turning anything. It's just a touch. Boost pump on. Hear the noise, see the light. Alternator is on and the light is out, and we did the charging test earlier. T's and P's, that's approaching green, that is in the green, that's well in the green. Lights, I'll do that. Taxi off, landing on, and strobes. Pitot heat is not required. Instruments, another check of the de-icing. So that's north and 3, halfway between. That's north and 3, halfway between. The first heading that we're going to fly after we've taken off is 224. That's this bug here. 15224, that's 21.
Good
That's 21.
It's Golf Charlie Golf Juliet Papa.
There's 224, or 225, okay. So that one's ready to go, and we're still doing the checklist.
Golf Juliet Papa, Compton radio, runway.
Instruments, transponder to Alt, so turn that, the bigger knob.
QFE 993, and we'll be targeting
full and free on the controls.
Altitude 2,400 feet on the QNH 1021.
I don't want to see you bashing it. I just want it,
930.
Canopy closed and locked.
Yes.
Harnesses tight.
Do have the circuit in use.
Juliet Papa, yeah, I'll maintain clear.
Takeoff time doesn't need to be noted, it'll tell us. Takeoff brief and departure clearance. So, I'll do the takeoff brief because I will handle the takeoff.
Compton radio, Golf.
The wind had got better, but now it's cross again.
That's alright.
Golf.
Our demonstrated crosswind limit is 25 knots, she gave me 20 before, and their demonstrated crosswind limit is 17, and the boss took off in Bravo Delta on that, so that's fine. Right, we're taking off on 08. If there's a problem with the engine during the takeoff run, I will close the throttle, I really will close the throttle, and I'll put it back on the ground, or even go through the hedge. If there's a problem later on, I'll look for a field in an arc of about 30 degrees and I'll put it onto a field. Whilst that's happening, I'd be very grateful if you could pull that and push the canopy away. If you know where the thing is, let's check it's
might
there.
leaving the circuit to the north.
It is there.
Route, watch for some. Thanks very much, bye-bye.
The fire extinguisher's in the back.
Golf Juliet Mike.
We're ready to go. I'm ready to go.
Okay.
We go flying, we're going down to Devon. Look at those beautiful clouds. Compton radar, Golf Romeo, Romeo, ready for departure 08.
Golf Romeo, Romeo, wind still 17 knots, northeast.
That was radio 3, reception 3. Could you give me the wind again, please?
Wind is 17 northeast.
Roger, Romeo, Romeo. Well within limits. Nothing coming down final. We get onto that. Because there is some crosswind, we apply some into-wind aileron, which is there.
Compton
I've
Radio,
got
Juliet
full
Papa,
power.
just passing north of Beam now.
My P's are all happy.
Golf Juliet Papa, Compton, roger.
Can you adjust the squelches? One of them's wrong. It was yours. Right. Positive rate of climb. Approaching 300 feet above the runway. 80 knots. Flap goes. Flap wasn't set. How did that happen? I missed the checklist, I think. We did a flapless takeoff.
That right took longer.
Yep. Don't know how we missed that. I'm dipping the nose. Nobody seems to be around and resuming the climb.
You'll have to edit that bit out.
Compton Radio, Juliet Papa, I'm clear to the west, so I'll continue with head 6.
Golf Juliet Papa, roger.
So this one is bloody loud. So we're coming round. We know the Dunkeswell sort of down there. We've got a heading bug here.
Compton Radio, Golf Bravo, Sierra Alpha Whiskey.
Ah, that's right.
Requesting
After takeoff,
radio check.
I'll pull this power back to about 25.
Sierra Whiskey, Compton Radio, runway
'Cause it's
08, left hand,
Friendlier for the neighbours.
QFE 9
Do you
knots.
want the booster off yet?
Wind northern.
We've got 1,000 feet, so we'll have the booster off. Thank you.
08 left and 999 left 3, Golf Alpha Whiskey.
So, if you have control,
Yeah.
first of all, let's set a general direction of that heading bug. And you don't want to go below 80 while it's climbing. We'll get it trimmed in a minute. You only trim when you're stable, but we're coming round to the left for that heading bug.
Okay, so when you say bug, it's the yellows.
It's the yellow bit, yeah. We've got control over that yellow bit, and so we set in the number which will point us to Dorchester.
Okay.
And we're
Trying
going
to keep that above 8.
That's right, and we're going to aim for a height of 3,000 feet. It's still not quite on the heading bug. And so basically, when the heading bug's over there, you push the stick that way.
Yeah,
when
yeah.
the heading bug's over there, so now you can straighten it out.
Yep.
And on your first lesson, you actually do turning, and you learn to lead it a little bit. When it's turning left, you stop turning left a little bit sooner.
Yep.
So that's good. We're doing 8. We're now at 3,000 feet, so you can push the stick forward, so we're no longer climbing. And as you push the stick forwards, you only hold it with one hand, and you change the trim, so you're not having to push. And gradually, she'll get faster.
The trim's going forward a bit.
And we're still climbing, so you've got to push the stick.
Golf Echo Tango, India November.
And the trim is taking the pressure out of the stick, yeah?
Yep.
Of the airfield inbound.
It's very, very much a muscle memory thing. And do it by, don't look at the instrument for whether we're climbing or not. The moment you've got us into a state where we're not climbing, remember the bonnet. We've got a reasonable horizon.
Golf Romeo Charlie.
QFE 993.
And now that's happened, we've done it in the wrong order, but I want you to pull the power back gently to about 20. There's a huge amount of bonnet there.
Compton Radio, confirm, 08 left.
You're going to have to retrim in a minute anyway, because we're going to play with the power.
Right, so what do you want me to do?
I want you to gently pull the power back to 20. And then, that's enough. That's 19 actually. I know where you're sitting, it's difficult
I
to
was
see.
looking at that.
Don't worry about the RPM yet, we're doing the power for the moment. More power, more power.
Sorry.
That's alright, that's alright. 20.
Yep.
And now gently pull the prop back to about 23.
The red one or
Yeah.
the blue?
No, the blue. Blue is the prop. And that's 22, back up to 23.
Oh.
That's right, and now gently pull the red one back until under 2.
my heading as well.
Lots to do.
Back to number 2.
Yeah. Under 2. Just under.
Feeling it, because I don't want to go too far. Is that okay? Happy with that?
I am. And the way you would actually do it if you were in charge, and the way I learned that it's under 2 is I'd keep pulling it until the engine felt ill.
I don't want the engine to feel it.
It's beginning to feel ill.
Struggling a bit.
And then you put it back to where it was, and it's just under 2. And the other way of telling how the engine is feeling is if you go too lean, the temperature goes up. And so now we can settle out. We've got nearly 4,000 feet, but that's okay. We're not going to bounce it. That's too much bonnet.
Requesting radio check and information.
I'm going to call them up.
Compton radio, we doubled up there. Station calling for radio check. Say again.
Compton radio, Golf Bravo.
We're 4,000 feet and we're climbing.
What do you want?
I wanted 3,000.
Okay.
It's to do with the fact that you haven't yet got your picture for the bonnet and left it there.
Yeah.
It keeps creeping up, which I think means that you're not trimmed properly, so I've just put a big handful of trim in for you.
08 left and QNH 1013.
And now we've got too much bonnet. Yeah. So now you might need to pull the trim back a little bit. Right, you'll get the hang of it.
I'm also trying to concentrate
and you're also
on
keeping on that too. But you also do that by looking out the window as well, you see.
Yeah.
Too much bonnet. I think you put your arm at arm's length and look for about 2 fingers of bonnet between the horizon and the bonnet.
Okay. Going under this cloud.
And I'm going to, yeah, so we want to go down a bit. I'm going to call up and tell him.
Okay.
Compton radio, Golf Romeo Romeo is clear of the zone to the south and west and going en route. See you later, bye-bye.
Golf Romeo Romeo, Compton radio, have a good day.
Final 2, let's go 2, 3.
Were we getting cloud suck then?
Hey?
Were we getting some cloud suck? It lifted us
We could have been, yes.
Charlie Bravo, Papa Delta, pass message.
So we know that heading was good for Dunkeswell, right? No, not Dunkeswell, for Dorchester.
Dorchester, yeah.
I can now see
Delta
Dorchester.
Roger Squawk 1177 with mode Charlie. It is a basic service.
And it's over there. And so we're going to have to, if we now actually point towards Dorchester rather than fly the heading.
It's over there.
That's it, yeah, that's the Poundbury end of it. It wasn't too far out.
Danger 406 is not active today. Papa Delta, the Holyhead QNH 1017.
London information, Golf Romeo 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 for a danger area crossing.
2 stations once there, Golf Romeo Romeo Romeo, pass message.
Golf Romeo 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 is a bulldog out of Compton Abbas to Dunkeswell. We're going to route via the coast, and so therefore we'd like to know the status, please, of the Lyme Bay danger area D012.
Golf Romeo Romeo, danger area D012 is not active today.
D012 is not active, Golf Romeo Romeo. We'll thank you for that and QSY.
Good day. Other station calling, try again. Golf Alpha Yankee Papa Echo, London information. Good morning, pass message.
We're about 3.5.
That's lovely.
You want me to go down to 3?
You can do anything you like. Just make sure that you get it, play with the trim basically. It takes a long time to sort out the
with no
trim.
child, it is a basic service.
I could drop you off here really, couldn't I?
You could.
London information, Golf Bravo to India Juliet, Kemble, next reporting point, Leicester, time 1115.
2 stations once there, Golf India Juliet. Can you take in your next test flight?
The next estimate, Leicester, time 15, India Juliet.
Golf India Juliet, roger, thank you. Another station calling, try again.
Going up to 3.
Golf Lima Oscar Romeo requesting basic service.
Golf Whiskey, X-ray, roger, you stepped on there a little bit. What's your aircraft type, your present position and altitude?
Down if it needs to be.
Thank you, Golf India. 30.
Golf Whiskey, X-ray, roger, squawk 1.
Right, we're now on box 1 and it's not making horrible noises. And if we hear anything, it'll be what's being said down at Dunkeswell. We're allowed into the danger area.
Green's on.
So shall I head out over that way?
You can. Just to confirm where we are on the chart, there is a lot of swans around at Abbotsbury.
Yep.
There's Dorchester. And you can see that the swans stopped when Chesil, well, quite a long way down Chesil. So if you aim for the end of Chesil, we should be clear of the swans. We are at the right sort of height for Chesil. So choose an aiming point on the coast. There's a bit of a pimple that's in a dark bit of...
Over there?
Yeah. Aim for that little pimple there. And then we'll get out over the sea and then we'll turn and just track the coast along and it'll be lovely. And we'll sing the coast tune. La la la.
Oh, I do like to be beside the
there is
seaside.
there is that one as well, yeah. I was suggesting that pimple about 11 o'clock.
I'm just having a little play.
Oh good, okay, rightio. As you know you can. There's Dorchester.
So I'm aiming at that one over there.
I was going to suggest the one which is in about 10 o'clock now. Because then we get to the seaside a bit earlier.
That one over there or the middle one?
No, it's just coming round. Around there just a smidge. In fact, if I do... I've just done that. I've done that wrong. So if you can get it... I've adjusted the wrong thing on the DI. If you get it straight and level for a minute, wind straight, neither up nor down. I'll get this set to the compass. My bad. That's where I wanted you. This is the heading I want you to be on.
Okay.
The one which there's a little bump on these, and there's one cloud, or it's either that or it's a lot of forest. But there's a darker patch with a little bump. And so we now need what we call a Frida check: fuel, radio, engine, direction, altitude. Okay.
Yep.
Fuel. Tank is good.
Yep.
We're on both.
Yep.
Radio we know is working. Somebody sounds like they're talking there. Fuel, radio, engine, green, green, green. Direction, I've just done that. 24, 25, they're about the same. And altitude is not bad, 3,200. When you're going for your IMC, you have to keep it within 100 feet. There's an interim stage between VFR, or rather, between my licensed and an instrument rating, which is an IMC rating, which will let you in certain clouds.
So, 3-1's okay then?
3-1 would be acceptable as long as you can keep it around 3, yeah. And so we're getting quite a fast cruise off this.
We are, I was noticing that.
105, and this is on 21, 23. But we're below 2.
Dunkeswell Radio, good morning.
And the engine's good.
35 right hand circuit, the QNH 1023. 35 right hand circuit 1023.
What's the wind direction?
Pretty much up our bottoms, isn't it?
Yeah.
You'd have thought you'd be able to tell, wouldn't you?
Charlie Lima, downwind 35.
So he said downwind for 3.5. So it sounds like they're using the runway 3.5. As I said, they're fairly north-south. The big runway is fairly north-south. So therefore, with the wind behind us, we'll be landing landing up into the wind, which is 3.5, which is about right northerly. And if there was an engine failure, I would want to be landing up that way.
Yeah.
Because I'm sitting on this side, I'd be looking for a field on this side. There's quite a nice one there. And so if you've got nothing to say or do when you're on a long flight, and actually anyway you're doing it all the time, you're always looking for your next field.
Yep. Nice one back there with like old silo markings.
Oh, was there? And from 3,000 feet, assuming the ground's about 200 or 300 feet, we've got a reasonable length of time before we have to actually, it would be about 5 minutes or so from there's something wrong, we've got to put it down to the wheels actually hitting. And what you're looking for in a field is something which you think might be short grass as opposed to long grass or as opposed to something ploughed. And
preferably no barbed wire fences.
No fences or any wires of any description, no pylons.
Juliet Papa's right base 3-5 on visual with the aircraft on final.
Failing that's a motorway.
Well, in the States, yes. No, I think a motorway is not such a bad idea, but they also, there's too many cars on the road motorways. Seagulls. And the reason I'm listening to Dunkeswell is I want to hear them remind us of the circuit direction. We know they're using 3.5. And from memory, I think that means it'll be a left-hand circuit. Oh, that's right. I just felt you move the rudder because you're looking for the ball to be in the middle. And of course, I'm sitting in front of it, and you're not. So the ball is pretty much in the middle at the moment when it keeps still.
So if it goes over to the left, I
tread
push
on the ball. That's what I always say.
Tread on the ball.
Yeah.
Go Charlie Lima, final 3-5, touch and go.
So,
keep the case.
There's the dual carriageway, or the thing which does often become a dual carriageway to Bridport.
Yeah.
Bridport's happening there, and you know that there's a gap between Bridport and West Bay, and we can see West Bay. And we know all that because we're locals, but we then back that up by looking at the chart. And then we can see the rush of Bridport, we can see West Bay is sort of separated from it. And confirmation, one of the confirmation points is there's a line of pylons. See, it's much easier with the picture, isn't it? You basically, your eyes look at it and think, oh, I'm probably in a bit of a descent with that much bonnet, and then you're not. So it must have been a little bit of lift.
Yeah.
There is a bit of a line of pylons. You can
these clouds, they're sucking us up.
Cloud suckers, which I'd forgotten about, and of course you haven't forgotten about.
Oh, we know all about clouds. You don't want to be sucked up through them, you'll get icicles.
Yes.
There was a couple of paragliders that got sucked up through, because they were supposed to come down and they thought, oh, well, just a bit longer, and they got sucked up through. One died,
yeah.
The other one got sucked right up through a cumulonimbus,
yes.
And literally she was freezing.
Yes.
And when she got spewed at the end, luckily she gained consciousness and controlled it and landed.
Good on her. We might as well come round a bit, save a bit of fuel. Because we're aiming for one of those inlets over there. Because Bridport is, yeah, we're happy to have Bridport over there. Of course, by being over the sea, we've lost half the places we could land on, but also, depending on the tide, we may have given ourselves something which is a nice possible bit of sand to do it on. Lovely day, lovely, lovely day.
It is, and it's fascinating looking at the shadows in the water.
Yeah.
You think, well, is that cloud or is it a sandbank down there?
That's right, that's what we're talking about with Peter. And this is very loud in my ear, and I can turn it down a bit that way. So the turning point that I've given us is a little grass airfield that's on a cliff that's quite close to the sea. I keep contemplating using it as a way of getting to go and swim in the sea. But we still have some way to go. Bridport, Dorchester to Bridport is halfway to Branscombe.
When I was a child, we very often went down to Chiddock and Seaton, camping and caravanning.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Family holidays down there.
I think I've done that as well.
And we went fossiling in the cliffs.
You did?
Yeah.
You did what, sorry?
We took hammers and chisels and went fossiling on the cliff front.
Got that, Lima, taking off runway 35.
You can see the cloud shadow,
yeah.
But just under that you can see where the sand is swirled.
I'm liking looking at the cloud shadows and seeing them moving to remind us of the wind direction. So we've done Bridport, there's a bit of a town coming up there and a bit of a town coming up there. So, Bridport, as you say, Chidiock.
Lima, downwind runway 35.
And the next one might be Morecambe Lake, if it's a bit bigger. And then the sea should start going out. Yeah, so I think that's Chidiock.
Yep, and
the next one up, which is hiding under the nose at the moment.
Has he got Chiddock and then Golden Cap?
Is that another place name?
Yep. Oh, Golden Cap is, I think it's that.
Oh yeah, it looks like it. The curve in the cliffs.
Yeah, and the Golden Sands. So that's Golden Cap, and it's a really good long walk.
And so how are you with the pressure on the forwards and backwards? Are you completely happy that it's trimmed? If you let go of it, does she nod up or does she nod down? Not far off, is it? Nodding up very slightly.
Get some.
So Chiddock and Morecambe Lake. So that's Lyme Regis in that beam, and we should be going around that way anyway.
Okay. Some lovely little boats down there.
Yeah. Splendid day.
There's a good speed.
Yep, belting along, and in fact let's just see how fast we are going. It's going to take much longer to get home, of course. We're doing 106 across the ground, 106 on there, so we must be crossways onto the wind at the moment. Suppose we are, aren't we, really?
So you always tend to avoid going through clouds?
Yes. It's called, I think it's 128 seconds. If you get involved in a full-on cloud, the average VFR pilot will live 128 seconds. Because you just lose all orientation, and you just get faster and faster, and you can't believe your instruments, and you just keep not believing your instruments because you're not an instrument pilot, and you come out of the ground, you come out of the cloud pointing straight at the ground at maximum speed.
No, we won't do that today.
But that doesn't stop us when we're feeling playful, choosing a little one. So, are we convinced that that is Lyme Regis?
What, this one coming up?
Yeah.
I think so.
How do we know? What do we look for in Lyme Regis? Because we got some local knowledge.
Was that Lyme Regis back there? Because
well,
it actually had the wall.
The cob, yeah?
Yeah. I think we've passed it.
I think you're right. I think we've done Lyme Regis, in which case the next one comes up as Seaton, isn't it?
What's it called?
Seaton, not Seatown, Seaton. And I think that makes that one Beer Head.
I'm sticking to my 3000.
You are, that's right. Which is good. And I keep looking and seeing too much bonnet, thinking we must be climbing, but we're not. You're doing very good at 3000. I caught a trout down there on a landline, and I was so chuffed, and a man came up and said, have you caught anything? And I said, yeah, I've got this trout. And he said,
where's your license?
Are you a member of the club?
Oh.
No, I'm here on holiday.
Shall I put it back?
It's bloody dead now, yes, but...
So did he confiscate it?
No, ticked me off. Now then, if that is Seaton, and I'm convinced it is, if you can steer us out to sea a bit, we'll try and find Branscombe, which is our turning point. That's enough, cheers, just to give me and then... There's forests beyond, forests and it's bumpy, and then beyond that there's some brown bits, and possibly either covered up bits or wind farm, not wind farms, solar farms. And Branscombe is a runway which runs in this direction.
And there's a little town there, and then another coastal town.
Yeah. Because the bit of land that we're flying over, it's quite a 90-degree bend in the beach, isn't it? There's a...
Yeah.
Dip the nose a bit, we can afford to lose the height. Bastard, look at this.
We're now well clear of you to the northwest, and we're going to change our Cardiff 11915. Thanks for your help, good day.
Lima, Roger, thanks for visit, and good day.
Because the next one up is Sidmouth, so we need to be turning soon.
Okay.
And the heading we'll want to go to is 347 on the DI. About that. And we turn when we spot this bloody airfield, which is your side.
How close?
It's quite close to the sea and very close to us. In the absence of spotting it, we'll turn in now.
You want me to turn?
Well, let's confirm it with the GPS, because that is what it's there for.
You want me to turn?
I do. Turn on to 347, that heading bug there. And then we've got to start looking for the airfield. I'm going to give him a call. Dunkeswell radio, Golf, Golf, Romeo, 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 inbound.
Okay, short final 35, touch good. Romeo, Romeo, Dunkeswell radio, good afternoon, patch message.
Golf Romeo, Romeo is a Bulldog inbound to you, 2 persons on board, currently 3,000 feet overhead, Branscombe, request joining and landing information.
Romeo, Romeo, Roger, runway 35 right hand circuits, Dunkeswell QFE 992 hectopascals.
QFE 992, Golf Romeo, Romeo.
Fab 992.
And 35 with a right-hand circuit, Golf Romeo, Romeo. Right, we've got 2,000 feet above the airfield. We start doing stuff now. We basically
this is Golf Charlie India
have quite a lot less power. Well, we'll go fully rich, you're doing this.
Right hand and
fully rich. That's red all the way forwards.
Roger, your details are correct.
Pulling the throttle back to about 15.
Form fuel to fire king.
That's, sorry, 15, that's too much, yeah, it's about 17, that's that. So we're in a bit of a descent. We're on that heading, we're trying to find the airfield. It's a... it is a tarmac runway, so it shows up. According to this, it's very slightly over that side. I can see a lot of white buildings over on the top of that hill over there. That is almost certainly Dunkeswell, so we're aiming for that one. And because we're in a bit of a plummet, what we do is we gradually just start slowing everything down. So basically you need to trim now so that we're in a bit less of a plummet, because I want to come in at about 1,500 feet. So don't go below about 1,500 feet. And so to stop the descent, because we've got low power, you're going to need to go slower, and that means you're going to need to trim. And did you see the bit that I saw? I can see dark patches, be they forest or be they clouds, two of them, which are sort of touching each other at the tip, and just beyond it there's a lot of white buildings.
Oh, over in the distance?
Yes, it's quite a long way in the distance. I believe that's much too much nose, I think, for me, for the moment.
Watching the...
Yeah, don't come down to below 80. If you're going to get too slow, use a bit of throttle. Now that we've got it slowed down, we can go fully fine, so put the prop fully fine, forwards, and it will get noisier. But it means we've got less to worry about as we get close in. And it's a right-hand circuit, and that is turning right, and
So
we're landing on 3.5. So we're landing in this direction. I think I can see the runway that's winking at us already.
Straight over there?
Sort of on our nose, yeah. And we're turning...
Oh yeah, I think I can see it.
We're turning right. So the downwind leg... So in fact, I want the runway on your side, please.
Okay.
And I want to stay at about 2,000 feet. Because what we're going to do is we're going to fly up so that the runway comes down to you, and then we'll turn right and land, okay?
Yeah. Watching this. Let's come up again. So you wouldn't consider just coming straight into land? You do a circuit first?
It was a bit rude.
Okay, fine.
And I'm not worried about the fuel, because I've got help. And it gives us more time to think and plan.
Yep.
And I haven't really built up a problem about who might be flying. But if they are flying, because they're turning right and they're using 3.5, they're coming towards us when they're on that side of the airfield.
Yep.
So we'll stay gently on this side of the airfield and it'll be better. We're less likely to have a head-on.
Always a good plan.
And anything taking off is taking off away from us.
It's further away from the coast than I thought it was going to be.
Me too, but I'm sure it is it. There is, of course...
Bravo, Bravo, joining long right base, 3-5 to land, contact 1 ahead, and 1 just departed.
So somebody's joining long right base, so he's out there. He's going to come in there and turn right and land. So he's coming in from that side of us.
So I'll take a bit of a wider...
No, we're all right. He's lower than us. Because it's 1,000 feet. This is set to 992, which is... So this is good. We don't need to come out any wider.
Okay.
There is gliding which happens over to the end of it, and I can see a bloody glider. So get a little bit closer to the runway, please. Aim a bit more at it. I've lost the bloody glider now. So we've got 1,700 feet, so we're protected from circuit traffic.
Oh, the glider's over there.
Yes.
Quite away.
So we're going to aim at it. We're not going to be anything like dead side. There is no dead side. So we're going to sort of fly along the runway too high above it and then turn right.
How's my height?
Your height's good. It's 1,800, which means we're safely out of confliction with anybody in the circuit. He said he was right base, so he should be turning final soon. So we might be able to see somebody quite a long way below us signing up for the runway.
Not yet.
So that's that. And
Golf Bravo, final to land, 3-5.
Glider's still way at the distance.
yes. He's just said final to land 3.5 and he's got contact 1 ahead, so there now are 2 aircraft about to land on 3.5 below us.
See anybody?
There's one just crossing the threshold.
Oh yes.
There are also parachuting that happens at Dunkeswell, but he didn't say anything, but it is radio. So he wouldn't tell us what to do, but he might give us information.
Yeah.
Keep the nose down because we're happy to lose the height now.
The smoke's a good clue.
Yep. So So the guy who's landed is just about to vacate. There should be somebody going down final who's getting worried about that.
Oh, just here.
You've got him, have you?
Yeah.
Okie dokie. So I think for the moment I'm going to take control and then I'll feel more piloty, but you've done pretty damn well.
You?
I have it.
Okay.
We've identified everything. Yes, there he is in the circuit there. We know that there was a glider.
Glider's over there. He's coming into touchdown.
Yeah, I think he said he was doing a touch and go actually. But we've got much more speed on him, so we should be able to overtake him.
Charlie Lima, final runway 35, touch and go.
I'm going to belt in and make sure I'm decently ahead of him. He's got to climb out. He'll climb out slower than me. There should be sufficient gap.
Sort of almost stopping. So if he wants to take...
One of them's parking, remember?
Yeah, one's gone off to the right.
Golf Romeo Romeo, just joining crosswind for 35.
The second one that's landed has pulled off to the left.
So that makes anything park on the front, please. Okay.
Right, we're now just below circuit height. So we'll have a bit more welly. Boost pump on. Brakes, undercarriage, mixture, propeller, fuel.
You don't want flaps?
Not yet. Golf Romeo Romeo, downwind, 35 right. Thumb flat. So I'm going around slightly slowly with a bit more wind. We carry a bit more speed for better penetration. And we'll put we had the bloody landing light on all the time we were flying. It's a nice tight circuit, or I'm flying a nice tight circuit. I've put some flaps in now because I'm definitely going to get there from here. In fact, I'm going to need a bit of a plummet. Romeo Romeo, final 35. This is called a side slip. I'm deliberately flying massively out of balance, lose the height.
Straight in.
Say again?
Straight into wind.
Oh yeah. Nose wheels off, door warners going nicely. When it does touch down, it wants to wobble if you're going too fast. Lovely jubbly. Boost pump off. And a bit of brake.
Nicely done.
Was not bad, I was quite pleased, thank you. And Romeo Romeo will be possibly staying for lunch. Can you tell me where I should park, please?
Romeo Romeo, continue ahead and park next to the RV10 Juliet Papa on the grass.
Park next to Juliet Papa on the grass, thank you. There is a 4-seat aerobatic aeroplane. You can actually take 3 of your mates up and get them all being sick at once.
Charlie Lima, simulate engine failing, downwind.
That's the one they use for the parachutes. The meat bombers. Said Juliet Papa. Which I cannot see. Is it the one with the covers on it?
Yeah, maybe it's that one or the red one even.
Dunkeswell, good afternoon. Golf Bravo Hotel X-ray.
The white and red one here, Pa?
Ah, yes, the RV, that's right.
Romeo, continue ahead. RV 10 in your left.
RV 10's white and red, correct?
Go for X-ray Hotel Sierra, pass message. Station going X-ray, second call sign.
Golf Bravo Hotel X-ray Sierra, requesting airfield.
I hate squidgy runways.
X-ray Sierra, runway 1, runway 35, right.
We're about to make some mincemeat.
Yeah. Teach them a bit.
5 right hand 992. Windbound from Bodmin, presently overhead. Compton will pass north of the airfield and then join downwind.
You couldn't get more next to him than that, could you? Right, you can shut it down. You've got the brakes on. You make sure the top's fully fine. You make sure it's ticking over. You make sure it's idle, and then you pull the red all the way down past that detente, and it'll stop. While it's doing it, you hover your hand over the throttle in case it does that cough, choke, splutter. Now that's off. You do two things. You switch off the alternator. You switch off the master.